Why is there a Gitty ad on your Vice? Because it's time for Gitty Ad-Vice. Hi everyone, Lou LaManna here in my homemade instrument building workshop, and today we're going to talk about holes. Now, this is not a drill. Using one of these to determine what size hole to drill involves complicated math, converting decimals to fractions. Who needs it? We have enough math. I haven't had to use those yet. Instead, I use this. This is a drill gauge. It's metal. You can get it for a couple dollars at any hardware store anywhere, and this is probably the most indispensable tool in my whole workshop. You want to know what size hole to drill for a screw? I'll just pick a random screw here. Okay, we find whichever hole that this screw goes in, and we'll go all the way through 7/32. We go 2 sizes smaller to 3/16, and I know if I drill a 3/16 hole, this screw is going to go in snug. Smaller screws, that comfortably goes through an 1/8 inch hole. We go 2 smaller to 3/32. 3/32 is the size hole for that. You've got tuners. That's tapered, so how do you measure that? Well, you just put it through here until you find, and that goes in a 25/64. If I drill that size hole, that'll be perfect. The next size smaller, it's too small. The next size bigger, it wobbles too much. So that's the right size hole. So I would go into one of my drill boxes and find a 25/64 bit and drill my holes, and that will be the right size for that. You know, these are great. You can buy just the empty boxes of these and put your own bits in, or you can buy them. This is a 21 piece, which goes up to 3/8. This is a 29 piece, which goes all the way up to 1/2 inch by 1/16 of an inch. So that's very handy. And if you break a drill bit or one gets dull, you know you can just replace one and keep your fully stocked, and they're right at your fingertips. Your drill bits, you're not rooting in a coffee can of drill bits or a drawer or anything like that. We get the bigger bits. We use these, and I hope you use these. These are also very indispensable, and they are Zinner Bits. This is a Zinner bit. They come in a variety of sizes, and you can use these to drill flat bottom holes or very smooth sided holes, or if you have to expand a hole that's already there, this will grab it and drill it. What I did when I got these was I took a piece of scrap wood and I drilled a hole with each one of my Zinner bits, and I made a drill gauge for those. So that way, if I'm putting a sound hole in, I find out which size hole. There it is. That guy, 1 inch hole, that sound hole will go in very nicely. A little couple drops of glue on the outside or on the edge, and it'll be perfect. If you have potentiometers, okay, your volume and tone pots, if you put it in and there's not enough room, your box lid's too thick and you can't get the screw on, or can't get the nut on, in the washer. So what you do is you find the hole that this comfortably fits in without touching the capacitor or the wires. That's 1 1/8 inch. Now you already have your 5/16 hole that you found out it was too short. So you go inside the box lid, and you drill up to it. And that way it kind of countersinks it, so enough of it will stick out so you can get your nut and your knob and your washer and everything on there. And it's not going to be smashing on your wires or your capacitor in the back. So that's a tip for that. Strap tuners. Usually, once you find out what size holes to drill, I will take these completely apart as much as I can, so to just leave the strap. And then once you have just the strap, you can lay that right on your headstock, and you can mark where to drill your holes, or you could even tape it down and drill right through them. And you know that when you put them back together and mount them, they're going to fit on there perfectly. That's something that's a little tricky. That's about it. You know, these drill gauges are indispensable, and everyone should have them and use them. One little bonus tip I want to talk about is nails. Now, I know we don't use nails very often when we're building instruments, but sometimes you have to do some carpentry work, and if you're nailing pallet wood or if you're nailing up some wooden lattice, the wood keeps splitting on you, and you're like, how come it keeps splitting? Here's the secret. That nail has a point on the end, and that point goes between lines of grain on your wood, and it splits it apart so that the nail can go through, because that's the least resistance, and it splits the wood. So in order to not split your wood, take your nail on something hard, point side up, give it a couple whacks with the hammer and dull that, and that way when you put it through, it's not going to split it, it's going to crush, and it's going to go in, and it's not going to split your wood. Try it, you'll be amazed. But that's going to be it for now. So this is Lulamanda saying goodbye, and remember, have a good time. All right, this has been Gitty Ad-Vice.